What's up guys, this is Nick at Stridewise.com and today I want to talk about leather. Everyone knows a great boot starts with great leather, but where does that leather come from? I mean, a tannery obviously comes from a tannery, right? But the expertise of the tannery is what I was talking about there. Like the individual alchemy of the tanning process and the hide selection, the finishing with oils and waxes. There are countless tanneries out there. Like really, I've reviewed leather from like Indonesian tanneries and Italian tanneries, but if you're looking for the best possible product, there are some names you can really put your confidence in. Now, what this list is not is a list of all the good tanneries on earth. Like if it's not on the list, doesn't mean it's a bad tannery. And it's also worth remembering there are some tanneries that make great leather and I don't know what they are. Like the famous acorn leather on my Trickers boots, for example. Trickers refuse to tell me where that leather actually came from, like which tannery made it. So this is more like a list of very, very good tanneries that I think you should know about and that you can definitely trust. I will mention like vegetable tanning and chrome tanning a little bit in this video. If you're unsure as to what that is, I made a video about that as well. You can check out there or there, one of the corners of the screen. Let's get to number one, Horween Leather Company. If you are an American who likes boots, it's very unlikely that you have not heard of Horween Leather Company. It's among a pretty small group of tanneries that process their leather all the way from a raw cured state to a finished product. They were founded in 1905 and the Chicago-based family-owned operation has long stood as one of the most respected leather manufacturers in the US. They still employ craftsmen to produce all the leathers by hand, and Horween's signature leather is Chrome XL, which they call the original pull-up leather. It's made from a nearly century-old formula that includes a bark retannage and getting hot stuffed with a blend of natural oils and greases like beef tallow and beeswax. It's like the most popular leather on like American boots. I have so many Chrome XL shoes myself, including my old Indies, Wolverine 1000 Miles, Vibergs, Oak Streets, Allen Edmonds, Parkhurst, Helm. It never ends. Horween is also one of the few tanneries in the world that still produces genuine shell cordovan leather as well. And I've actually interviewed their VP on my blog before about all the myths surrounding leather terminology like full grain and top grain, which everyone seems to get wrong. If you want to check out that interview, it's in the description below. Number two, Charles F. Stead, also called CF Stead. Tanneries used to be a dime a dozen in England, but few have stood the test of time like CF Stead. They've been family owned and based in Leeds since the 1890s. Today they make a lot of really great leather, including this awesome green kudu leather boot from Parkhurst, but they're perhaps best known for their very widely beloved suede. They're probably the most celebrated suede makers in the world. They've got partnerships with a lot of really prominent retailers and they work with huge companies like Adidas and Doc Martens and Clarks, for whom they originally made the suede for their world famous desert boots. Number three, Farc. Farc is a tannery that sounds very questionable with my Australian accent. Even though I live in the United States, I do have an Australian accent. It sounds terrible, I have to say it anyway. Farc was founded in Mexico 25 years ago by a fourth generation tanner, Luis Ernesto Colasso. And though they may like the long storied history of like Horween or CF Stead, they quickly risen to the top of the industry as a maker of very fine leather, supplying brands like Thursday, like Wolverine, Timberland, even Saddleback Leather, right here. They produce up to 5,000 hides a week, they say. Farc has dominated a very competitive Mexican market while still maintaining a particular emphasis on environmental consciousness, like recycling 2/3 of their waste and using solar energy to power their facility. These are practices that have actually earned them a Leather Working Group gold medal. Number four, SB Foot Tanning Co. Much like Horween, Minnesota's SB Foot has occupied the upper echelon of American tanneries for well over a century. It was founded by Silas B. Foote and George Sterling in 1872. The tannery is today most famously associated with the Red Wing Shoe Company, who bought it in the 1980s and for whom SB Foote is the main supplier of leather. Beyond their partnership with Red Wing, they've partnered with the US military in the past, like for generations, supplying leather for soldiers' boots since World War I. They also manufacture full grain leather for like high-end upholstery and some sporting goods as well. But the fact that Red Wing owns their own tannery means they have a lot of quality control over their finished product. It's like a really, really cool aspect of the brand. The leather they make for Red Wing Heritage is oil tan, mostly oil tan, which is chrome tan that has like white mineral oil and some other stuff added to it to make it like really moist and like extra hardy as well. Number five, Badalassi. With Italy being virtually synonymous with leather, to be thought of as the country's finest tannery stands as a pretty tremendous accomplishment. And this is where the Badalassi Carlo Tannery sits today, according to a lot of people anyway. I know best is subjective and everything, but Badalassi is a very big deal. It's located in Tuscany in the city of San Miniato. And they have over 40 years of experience and they specialize in the production of vegetable tanned leather. The owner, Simone Rami, is actually the president of the Genuine Italian Vegetable Tanned Leather Consortium, which regulates, in their words, regulates, preserves, and guarantees the production of vegetable tanned leather made in Tuscany. So like leather purists really love Badalassi because they use traditional natural ingredients and they only tan in Tuscany and no animal is killed for its hide. Like they only use byproducts of the meat industry, which is like a rule, kind of like a code of honor that a lot of tanneries abide by. That makes the leather more ethical, in their opinion anyway. You can find the leather in Indonesian MTO brands like Sagara Bootmaker and also extremely high-end boots like White Cloud in Japan. It's very beloved leather. Number 6, Guidi. While we're talking about Italian tanneries, founded by Guido Guidi in 1896, and also located in Tuscany as well, where tanning dates back to like the Middle Ages. The tannery expanded from leather production into artisanal shoemaking in 2004, and this family-owned company avoids mass production techniques in order to handcraft more personal products, but they have like a really impressive variety of leathers as well. Like horse leather, they've got crocodile leather. They're the only company that tans crocodile leather with a mixture of veg and chrome tanning. Everyone else does chrome tanning, that's why it's so shiny. Guidi also does like vegetable tanning, chrome tanning, oil tanning, the works. They're very old school in that they don't operate their own stores where they sell their shoes. They sell to 130 plus boutiques around the world, and they've done a great job of flourishing in the modern world with very old production methods. Guidi isn't that well known, but among people who know them, they're very adored for their quality and really beloved for the fact that they make their own leather and their own shoes. And while they have a lot of old-fashioned styles, they have like a lot of really cutting-edge, very modern styles and colors as well. Number 7. Tannery Danone. I know I'm not pronouncing these like a native speaker, but anyway, Tannery Danone. We're moving west out of France in the Rhone Valley, which is where this tannery is. It's very famous for its luxury calfskin products. That's like its specialty. So in 1838, Etienne Maisonnier purchased the business from like a master tanner named Monsieur Roman. Things got exciting in 1872 when Eugene Maisonnier succeeded his father and developed a waxed calfskin that came to be known as box calf and is now a massively influential and widespread leather that's used on like countless dress shoes and boots, like my Carmina Chelsea's. The tannery changed hands and name several times in the 20th and 21st centuries, and a film was even made about the struggle to keep the tannery open called Les tanneurs ont la peau dure, which means tanners have tough skin, you know. But regardless of ownership, the Tannery Danone still supplies high-end box calf leather to some of the world's best footwear companies, and it's a real institution in the world of leather and in calfskin in particular. It's very fancy stuff. Number 8 is Shinki Hikaku Tannery. So Tannery Danone kind of specializes or are best known for their calfskin. Shinki is best known for their horsehide. It's a tannery that's located in Himeji, Japan. It's a family-run business that was founded in 1951. And besides being the only Asian tannery on this list, I really wanted to spotlight it because they are solely devoted to horse leather. That might sound a little bit weird to some more casual fans of boots and jackets, but if you know a thing or two about leather, you know horsehide is something that's worth doing right. Their vegetable tanning process involves dyeing and aging stages that take like up to 4 months and sometimes a lot more than that, and makes for a really unique grain and texture. I heard in some places it takes like 4 months for a lot of their leathers. Others have said nearly a year, like for the jacket leather and stuff. And of course, as a horse leather tannery, they also make cordovan leather as well, which takes about a year to make. The leather is specially selected from Europe. It's vegetable tanned. It has a really nice balance of like stiffness and malleability. And Shinki has been involved in like some really interesting collaborations with brands you might have heard of, like Viberg and Division Road and Motif came together to make these beautiful oiled horse butt leather service boots, like really cool. And Shinki also makes a leather for a lot of really beloved Japanese leather jackets, like the Horsehide A2 from Real McCoys. Also Freewheelers, Himmel Brothers. These photos, by the way, are from my buddy Jake at Almost Vintage Style, who says Shinki is bar none his favorite tannery. And his site's actually really worth checking out if you like this sort of like these sort of really niche Japanese brands. He gets really deep into those. Number 9 is J&FJ Baker. This tannery is Britain's only remaining oak bark tannery. And this tannery, or at least like the site of the tannery, has been a tannery since Roman times. Like the Baker family bought it in 1862, and it's currently run by Andrew Parr, who is the 5th generation to carry it on. So what's an oak bark tannery? It's like oak bark tanning is a very long process that protects the natural fibers of the hide. It takes 14 months to produce each piece of leather at J&FJ, and it's finished with their own blend of natural oils and greases, and the result is like a really hard wearing and strong and distinctive leather that's also quite flexible because like the fibers are protected and everything throughout the tanning process. Oak leather is especially beloved for shoe soles because it makes for a very durable and water-resistant outsole relative to like regular leather soles you're gonna get on boots. But it's also used in high-end leather uppers by companies like Crockett & Jones, which is like the preeminent fancy shoe company, in addition to like bags and belts and stuff as well. So it's definitely a tradition that's worth preserving, and this tannery is doing a really good job of it. Number 10, the last entry on the list is Hermann Oak. We're bringing it back to the United States to finish out the list. If you've ever bought a vegetable tan leather from Red Wing, it's not from SB Foot. It's actually from Hermann Oak, which is a very esteemed tannery founded in 1881 in St. Louis, Missouri. And they are known for pioneering the vegetable tanning process in the United States. So they have been supplying leather to the military in both World Wars. Now they supply leather for everything from like bridle leather on bags and also bridles, also raw hides for drum skins, and also Red Wing belts as well. So like when it comes to American vegetable tanned leather, Hermann Oak is like one of the last remaining vestiges of this like old-fashioned, very costly, very time-consuming, but very, very important way of making leather. All right, those are my picks for the 10 best tanneries in the entire world. I know like Wickett and Craig are good. There are some other like good ones out there, but like, 10 seems like a good number. I could keep going all day. But if I've missed anything, let me know, man. Like, let me know in the comments what you think is like a really good tannery that deserves to be in this list. I promise to listen to you. And make sure you subscribe as well, because I got a lot more boot, leather, bag, jacket, whatever related kind of videos coming up. They'll be good, I promise.